until I have my next show. Have a good day. Have a good day.
All right, well, thank you all for coming. This is the first panel for our Japanese guests. Let's first give a big warm welcome to director Kenji Kamiyama and producer Tomohiko Ishii. So today they're going to enlighten us on a little bit of their history and how they started off in the anime industry and kind of explain a little bit about what they've been doing. If there's time at the end, we'll have a few questions. After this, we'll be walking right across the way for an autograph session, so we hope you will all join us there as well. And without further ado, let me please, actually, you know what, before I start this, let me see a show of hands. Who was at opening ceremonies last night? Okay, so about half of you, great. Who has seen or heard of Ghost in the Shell? Okay, how about Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit? Okay, and how about Eden of the East? What about this last one, I'm not sure, 009 CYBORG? Wow, okay, great. All right, well first let me turn the microphone over to Mr. Kamiyama to give a brief introduction.
皆さんはじめまして。
Hello everybody.
日本から来ました神山健二です。
My name is Kenji Kamiyama from Japan.
いつもこういったですね、コンベンション等に呼んでいただいて思うのは、海外に自分の作品をこれだけ知ってくれている人がいるっていうのにいつも驚かされます。
I'm always surprised to learn how many people actually watch the products that we produce all over the world.
それだけたくさんの人が見てくれているっていうことをですね、とても嬉しく思います。
I'm very happy to learn that everybody's enjoying our shows.
どうもありがとう。いつも見てくださってありがとうございます。
Well, thank you very much for your support.
はじめまして、プロダクション IG でプロデューサーをしております石井と申します。
Hello everybody, my name is Mr. I'm Ishii from Production IG and I work in the capacity of producer.
今日はですね、僕がどうやってこのアニメーションの業界に入ったのかと、あとは普段どういう仕事をしているのかということと、あとは今日の夜に皆さんにご覧いただく009の内容についてお話ししたいと思います。
So today I'd like to talk a little bit to you about how I first myself got started in the industry and about what I do regularly in my role and also a little bit of an introduction to the show tonight for 009 CYBORG.
ですね、実は僕一昨日かな、テキサスに着いたんですけども、風邪をひいてしまってですね、昨日、一昨日とホテルの部屋でずっと寝てたんですね。
We arrived in Dallas the night before last, and for the last couple of days I've actually been sick a little bit and been in bed in the hotel room here for the last last 2 days.
でもせっかく、皆さんに呼んでいただいたのにそのまま倒れてるわけにいかないので、昨日一生懸命ですね汗を出してですね今日はなんとか熱が下がったので皆さんの前に、来ることができました。
So since we've come all this way and to be able to speak in front of you guys, I've focused on getting all the fever out of the way yesterday and got to make it today.
用意してもらった部屋にですねベッドが2つあったんですけどもどっちも朝びしょびしょになって
So there were 2 beds in the room, but I had to use both because one would be so sweaty that I had to change the bed.
今シーツを取り替えてもらったばかりです。
So the room just got cleaned up, so it's nice and fresh now.
ちょっとね元気がないかもしれないんですけれども1時間という短い時間ですけれどもよろしくお願いします。
So I may sound a little bit quiet, but it is for a short 1-hour session, so I hope you guys enjoy.
まずじゃあ僕のですねアニメーションの監督に、どういうふうな経緯でなったかとかですねどういうふうに作品を今まで作ってきて、今日まで仕事をしてきたかみたいな話をちょっと今日できればいいかなと思います。
So first, I'd like to talk a little bit about how I got started and how I became director and do what I do today.
皆さんもご存知だと思うんですけども僕はその監督作品っていうのは一番有名になったのはゴースト・イン・ザ・シェルからなんですけれどもその前はですねアニメーションのバックグラウンドの仕事をしていたんですね。
So as you might be aware that I've become known to work on the Ghost in the Shell, but prior to that, I worked on background animation.
もともとアニメーションの監督になりたいなと、思ったのが中学の2年生の時かな、14歳15歳ぐらいかなの時にアニメの監督になろうと思ってでいろいろ、勉強というよりねもう本当に皆さんと一緒でアニメが大好きだったのでいろんな作品のを真似してですね絵を描いたりとかなんていうんだろう日本だとムック本っていうんですけどアニメのこう設定が載ってる本とかをいっぱい買ってそういうものをまず真似したりしてですねずっと学生の頃はそれを絵を描いたりして過ごしていました。
So when I was 14 in junior high is when I started to take a very much interest in the production of animation, and so I've spent, much like you, a lot of time watching various animation and try to learn as much as I could from watching various animation as well as reading a lot of books that are available, particularly in Japan, that shows a lot of, that talks a lot about the how the animations are produced, and spent a lot of time doing that all through my school years.
で高校に行く時にですね高校3年間で自分の自主制作のアニメーションムービーを作ろうと思ってですね、地元の高校をいくつか見学したんですね。そういう作品を高校3年間で作れそうな学校を探したんですけれど
So in selecting which high school in Japan, you can select several from different schools, which one you want to attend as a background. So in selecting which school to go to, I've researched a lot of school to see which school might allow me to actually produce a piece while I was in high school.
そしたらアニメーションを作ってる美術のクラブが学校があったんですね。でその学校に行こうと決めたんですけれども、その学校が普通科ではなくて、いろんな科が分かれてる高校で食品科学科ですけど、その学校に進んだんですね。
So, of the various schools that I looked at, one of the schools that had a animation group or club that actually worked on producing animation that had various, rather than just a regular high school that you go to learn various standard topics. This school had very distinct courses, and the one that he ended up enrolling in was I don't know how to say this. It's the like a food food science school is what I ended up joining.
僕の両親はなんでその学校に行きたいんだと、で僕はアニメを作りたいからっていうふうに親が反対するんだよ。その時は言えなかったのでシェフになると。
So my parents would ask, why would you want to go to this school and study food science? He couldn't exactly bring himself out to tell the parents that I want to learn how to make animation. So I had to tell my parents that I was trying to become a chef.
ウィキペディアにね、シェフの道を志したと書いてあると思うんですけど。
If anyone looked on Wikipedia about me, there's actual mention of me at one point trying to become a chef.
それは高校の時にね、親についた嘘がそのウィキペディアに載ってます。
That's actually a lie that I had to tell my parents, so don't believe what's on Wikipedia.
で高校3年間はもう本当にアニメーションの自主制作をずっと作ったりして過ごしてですね、それから、日本だとアニメーションの仕事するのは東京に行かないといけないので、東京でアニメの美術の仕事に携わっていったというのがアマチュアの僕の時代のそういう過ごし方ですね。
So in high school, I spent majority of the time creating animation, and in Japan, Tokyo is where you need to be to try to find your path in the animation world. So after high school, after graduating from high school, I joined a production company.
その後はすごく僕は運が良かったんですけれども、バックグラウンドの仕事をしていた時にまず皆さんもご存知だと思うんですけど、アキラという作品がありまして、それを新人の時にもうすでにアキラのスタッフとしてバックグラウンドに参加して、その後は宮崎駿監督のですね、魔女の宅急便にも参加するというですね、非常にラッキーな仕事をもらうことができて、そこから大きなステップになったと思います。
I was very fortunate to be able to really start out as a background animator working on the Akira as you might be familiar. I was able to work on that background as part of the team from the very beginning. So I was very fortunate in that. And after that, I worked on
Kiki's delivery service.
Oh, the Kiki's delivery service. So the background on that, I was able to work on as well.
結構な数書いていて、アキラは200カットぐらい仕事をしてるんじゃないかな、バックグラウンド書いてると思いますね。
So for the background of Akira, I drew about 200 backgrounds.
その後は、だんだんバックグラウンドアートの仕事から、演出の仕事の方に、ディレクターの仕事に移っていくんですけれども、経歴を当時の経歴だと魔女の宅急便の後に、ブラッド・ザ・ラスト・ヴァンパイアの脚本をやっていて、次が人狼という作品のディレクター、アシスタントディレクターですね。でその次がもうゴースト・イン・ザ・シェルの監督なので。
So from there, I began my journey towards directing a film, and some of the pieces that I've worked on includes Blood of Lust Vampire and the Jinro as an assistant director, and then the Ghost in the Shell as my first directing piece.
自分でもすごくラッキーな経歴だなと思うんですけど、僕がゴースト・イン・ザ・シェルの監督をテレビシリーズの監督をするというのがですね、発表された時に一番最初に取材に来てくれたメディアがスペインのテレビ局だったんですね。一番本当に人生で初めて取材を受けたスペインのテレビ局なんですけど。
So another thing that worked out very fortunately for me is when I was announced as the director of the TV series Ghost in the Shell. The very first interview that I got that came to me was the Spanish television station.
彼らのそのスタッフの一番の疑問が一体ね、どうやってお前はこのステップアップをしたんだと、どう考えても経歴が詐称されてる気がするというのが最初の質問でした。
So the very first question in the interview was, where did you come from? What did you work on in the past?
実際にはもっと細かい仕事もたくさんしてるんですけれども、非常にアニメーションの、ね、ディレクターになりたいと思ってこの仕事をスタートしてから実際の監督になれるまで僕はすごくラッキーだったなとは思います。
So there are actually a lot smaller jobs that I had to do along the way, which aren't mentioned very often. But as far as the main path of how I got to where I'm at today in getting to the director role has been very fortunate, and a series of luck has certainly played a big role.
僕はですね、子供小学校の時に一番その友達の中で一番の話題だったのが少年ジャンプっていう雑誌。
So in my case, probably when I was in elementary school, I guess the thing that was most popular amongst me and my friends was a magazine called Shonen Jump.
ドラゴンボール、ジョジョの奇妙な冒険、シティハンター、あとは何ですかね、あとはビデオガール。
So, shows like Dragon Ball, City Hunter, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, also Video Girl I,
and Saint Seiya also.
and Saint Seiya.
で当時漫画と一緒にテレビもやってたんですけど、僕は当時漫画を描いてる人がテレビを作ってるっていうふうにずっと思ってました。
So, I was looking at all these manga, and obviously they also had anime going on TV at the same time. And as a kid, I thought, oh, it's the same manga artist that's making the TV animation.
とても不思議だったのが、テレビアニメってコマーシャルの前と後分かるんですよ。
Yeah, so, one of the things I thought was kind of unusual was, in a TV show, it has commercials before and after it, right?
で同じ人が作ってるのに、なんで前の回と後の回で後の回の方が絵が下手なんだろうっていうのはずっと不思議でした。
And so I wondered, between the first half and the second half of the show, as I'm watching it, why does the art change? It's not as good in this part, or it's better in this part.
多分スケジュールが間に合わなかったからだと思うので。
Now that I realize, I think it's probably because, they didn't meet the schedule.
今はそのスタッフの気持ちがとてもよくわかります。
And I can tell you now that after working as much as I have, I can completely understand the staff's feelings in not being able to meet a schedule.
で僕はずっと映画が好きで映画の仕事をしたいと思ってたんですけど、当時その僕が高校生ぐらいの時って日本の映画があまり元気がなかったんですよね。
So as a youth, I was very interested in movies, and I thought, I want to be able to make movies. And at that time in Japan, unfortunately, the movie industry itself was not doing too well.
でその先に宮崎駿監督の「もののけ姫」と庵野秀明監督の「エヴァンゲリオン」という作品が日本で大ヒットしました。
So, and right around that time, there were two works that really became huge successes, huge popular pieces in Japan. And one was director Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke, and the other is Hideki Anno's Evangelion.
実写よりもアニメの方がずっと面白そうだと。
And so comparing kind of the lackluster movie industry and then those two amazing anime works, I thought, you know what? Anime seems a lot more interesting.
日本で一番大きなアニメ会社はどこかってことを調べたんですよね。
And so then I researched, where is the largest animation company in Japan?
それがスタジオジブリとプロダクションですので、僕は両方に履歴書を書きました。
And so the end result was that really ended up being Studio Ghibli or Production IG. So I wrote up my resume and I sent them to both.
で、プロダクション IG の方が当時あまり募集をしてなかったんですね。
So at that time, Production IG wasn't really hiring all that much.
で、スタジオジブリに応募して、で、アメリカどうかわからないですけど、面接がいくつかあるんですよね。
So I'm not sure how the interview process happens in America, but I can tell you in Japan that when you apply, there are a series of interviews that you have to go through.
で、最後の面接まで残って、スタジオジブリの一番トップのプロデューサーの人と面接をしたんですけど、
So I was able to make it to the last round of the interviews, and I had an interview then with a very talented producer at Studio Ghibli.
ものすごく威張ってたんですね、プロデューサー。
And so the one thing I remember is that he had a huge opinion of himself.
で、喧嘩になりました。
And actually we ended up getting in a little bit of an argument.
でもうダメかなと思ったら合格っていうやつしました。スタジオジブリに入りました。
And I thought, oh no, I did myself in. No way am I going to make this. And then I got the notice that I was accepted. And amazingly, that's how I kind of got my foot in the door at Ghibli.
で、一番最初の仕事がこの業界に入るきっかけになったもののけ姫の英語バージョンですね。プリンセスもののけという英語バージョンを使っている仕事で、それの担当に僕が一番最初になった。
And so the first kind of job that I was entrusted to is after I joined Ghibli was making the English version of Princess Mononoke.
僕 僕は英語の勉強はかなりプリンセスもののけでしてるので、若干言い回しが古い時があります。
So, I guess I can say I owe Princess Mononoke a lot to my study of the English language. So perhaps sometimes when I speak English, I speak a little bit in a different era.
その後に千と千尋の神隠しとハウルの牧師を猫の恩返し、ゲド戦記ですかね、その作品に関わっている時にちょうどハウルの牧師の時ですね、押井守監督がプロダクション IG でゴースト・イン・ザ・シェル2今先生が作ってました。
So, I worked on different works at Ghibli, like Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle and Gedo Senki, which is
Tales from
Earthsea. And right around that time, there was another director at Production IG. His name is Director Ishii, Mamoru Ishii. And he was working on the second movie for Ghost in the Shell called Innocence.
僕はもうゴースト・イン・ザ・シェルも大好きだったので、その作品をなんとかこう変われないだろうかと思ってたところ、スタジオジブリがイノセンスのプロモーションを手伝うことになりました。
And so, I was a huge fan of Ghost in the Shell too. And so I kept hoping, gosh, I really wish there was some way, something could happen to let things connect. And it just so happened that at that time, Studio Ghibli was asked to help with some of the promotion for Innocence.
プロダクション IG の石川社長と押井守監督です。イノセンスという作品についてこう思う感想文を書いてます。
And so I had the opportunity to write kind of somewhat of my opinion, right, of what I thought to Mr. Ishikawa, who's the president of Production IG, and to Director Ishii about Ghost in the Shell.
Innocence.
About Innocence.
About the script.
The script.
Yeah.
About the script for Innocence. So I was able to kind of communicate my thoughts to them in a letter.
で、イノセンスをお手伝いした後に、押井守監督が次のスカイクローラーズという作品を作ることになって、そこでプロデューサーとしてやらないかと言われたので、もうすぐやりますと言って、もうその直後にスタジオジブリを辞めて、プロダクションジブリに移って、今に至るという感じですね。
And so kind of, possibly as a result from that, I was approached and asked if I wouldn't help produce their next film, Skycrawlers, that was also directed by Director Ishii. And, once I received that offer, I immediately submitted my resignation to Ghibli and switched over to Production IG. So, when did you first meet each other?
僕と石井プロデューサーが一緒に仕事したのは東のエデンという作品からで、東のエデンの企画がスタートするときにですね、僕の方からプロデューサーとしてちょっと立ってくれないかという話をしたのが最初のきっかけですね。
The first piece that I've worked with producer Ishii was the Eden of East, and in selecting who to work with, I approached Mr. Ishii to join the team.
僕はジブリにいた時から押井守監督のもう次を担うのは神山健二監督だといろんな人が言っていたので、プロダクション IG に移ったらまずは神山監督と一緒に仕事をしようというのが最初の目的でした。
And so, from my point of view too, right? I knew Director Ishii was incredibly successful, and I was kind of aware that probably the next successor to him would be Director Kamiyama. And so, one of my goals was to be able to work with Director Kamiyama.
やっぱアニメーションの現場っていうのはですね、僕はずっとプロダクション IG でアニメーションを作ってきてるんですけれども、ゴースト・イン・シェルのスタンダローンコンプレックスを4年間かけて作ってきてですね、その後精霊の森人も2年かけて作ってるんですけども、 これだけのやっぱりシリーズの作品を作るとですね、そのスタッフも非常に多くのスタッフが必要だし、関わってくれるスタッフもですね、やっぱりすごく疲れちゃうんですね。でどんどんやっぱりスタッフが入れ替わっていく中で、東野エデンは僕の初めてのオリジナル作品だったし、その目標としてはその広角が漫画原作があって、精霊の森人が小説を原作にしたものであって、次のステップとして、オリジナル作品を作ろうという目標で、作ってきたんですけども、どうしてもその僕がこう望むね、クオリティをスタッフに要求していく中で、どうしてもスタッフがそれに応えきれないっていうかですね、疲れてしまう人もいるし、辞めちゃう人もいるし、あとやっぱりアニメの現場って1年間ほぼ同じスタッフと顔を突き合わせて仕事をするので、非常にハードな、実写よりもある種メンタルの部分ではすごくハードな仕事なので、そういう中で東野エデンをやるときに大きくスタッフを入れ替えたいなっていう思いもあってですね、それが石井プロデューサーと仕事するきっかけになったっていうのがあります。
So in producing or directing the Eden of the East, the animation takes lots of long and hard work. Over a period of a year, same staff working day after day, drawing after drawing for a long period of time in a very hard environment. Many from the stress can't continue. Many would leave, many would just can't maintain the focus. So it becomes very difficult to keep the team together. And for me, working on pieces like the Moribito as a stepping stone to get to Eden of East, it was absolutely critical that I select key team members that could hold that team together and encourage the rest of the team to continue to produce so that we're not making any compromises anywhere. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to work with Mr. Ishii and build that team together with him.
神山監督がすごいところは、大体みんな疲れてきたり、前よりもっと楽をしようと思ったり、あとはもうこんぐらいでいいかなってみんななってくるんですよね。それが一人だけ絶対にないんですよ。
So one of the things that honestly most impresses me about working with director Kamiyama is, often people after working for a long time, they try to find shortcuts. They try to maybe if I only put in a little less effort, I can still slide by. And the amazing thing is the staff that we work with, there's not a single person that doesn't continually give 110% of their effort.
いろんな監督さんとかいろんなスタッフを見てると、大体みんなその周りの状況が変わっていったっていうことを結構理由にしていく人が多いんですけど、むしろ変わらない人がどんどん前に進んでいくので、そこについていけない人はやっぱり周りが変わっていっちゃったと思うと思うんですけど、常に最初の志をずっと変えずに進んでいくかっていうのがその優れた監督とそうではない監督の一番の差であり、おそらく宮崎監督も若い頃からずっと今も変わらないので、そこが一番大きなところなのかなと思います。
So I think, maybe one of the big differences between director Kamiyama and many other directors is, often people will blame on changing environments. Situations just change, whether that's economical, personal, etc., and they'll adapt or they'll try to change their style for some other reason. But Director Kamiyama maintains his conviction from the beginning. He sets his vision in the beginning and he stays true to it through the end. and it's not just on one piece. It's really a practice, a focus, a dedication to that same goal and that persistence that not many directors have. I think Director Miyazaki is the same way. He hasn't changed in over 30 years. He still does things the same way and with the same motivation, the same conviction. And that's, I think, one unique thing about Director Kamiyama as well, is that persistence and conviction in what they believe in.
スタッフはたまったもんじゃないだろうなとは思いますけどね。
Yeah, so, but I don't think all the staff appreciate that.
ただね、別にスタッフをいじめたくてやってるわけじゃなくて、
I don't necessarily mean to put them through any kind of pain.
やっぱり作品がヒットすればね、みんな幸せになれるしね、お金も入ってくるし、有名にもなれるかもしれないしね。
But success leads to everyone's happiness. All the people that are involved in the team, companies making money, everybody's enjoy the success together. So it's always good to be able to work on those pieces with that type of dedication.
一応ね、やっぱり自分がどうしたいかっていうことだけではね、作品ってなかなか作れないと思うんですね。
But at the same time, it's difficult to produce a piece with just with what I want to do.
だから僕は監督になりたいっていうふうに少年時代に夢を持ってですねスタートして、大体それってもう最初の作品で夢は叶っちゃうんですね。
When I started at young age wanting to become a director, that dream is fulfilled after your first piece.
でその後それでもやっぱり作品を作っていきたいっていうのはどういうところにあるかっていうと、一つにはねやっぱり自分の作品を見たいと思ってくれるお客さんをまた楽しませたいとか、そういう思いが一つと、もう一つはねやっぱり一緒にやってるスタッフに対して、ね、彼らの生活があるしね、いい思いをさせてあげたいとか、一応そういうところっていうのが一緒にないとなかなかプロになって10年20年と作品を作り続けていくっていうのはすごく難しいんじゃないかなと。単純にアニメーションが好きだとか監督になりたいなっていう夢だけではずっと続けられない部分っていうのがあるので、一応僕はそんな思いでね、監督になってからもう僕どのぐらい経つの12年ぐらいですかね、12年ぐらい経ちますけど、そう思って、仕事をしてきてますけどね。
So after that first piece is done, and my dream to become a dream since childhood, wanting to become a director has been fulfilled. It's already been 12 years, and after your dream's fulfilled, how do you carry that on? What's your next objective? And really, what it becomes is trying to respond to the viewers, the people that have responded to the piece that I created, and bring more to them. And through that work, get all the team and the staff excited again, and bring joy of creating the new piece together, and mutual success among the staff. Those are the kind of mentality that I believe is a must in order for you to be able to carry on your career beyond just liking or just being just having a hobby of animation. And that's that continues to motivate my work today.
それでもね、たまにあんまりグズグズ言ってるスタッフがいるとね、引っ叩いてやりたいなと思うことがあるけどね。
But even then, there are some days when the staff just wants to give up. There are some days that I just want to, I don't know if I can say this, but beat them upside the head.
でもその方が若いスタッフにチャンスが生まれるということもあるので。
Yeah, but you know, even in those types of situations, sometimes that gives opportunity to new young staff.
質問とか
So, does anybody have any questions they would like to ask these gentlemen?
For Mr. Kamiyama, how did you convince a major production studio to hire you with the degree of food science?
Let me repeat the question. Mr. Kamiyama, how did you convince a company to hire you after getting a degree from high school after learning how to be a chef only? Maybe cooked a good meal?
一応ねシェフのアルバイトはしてたんですね。
So I did work for a short while as a young chef as well.
でアルバイトの募集をしている雑誌があるんですけど、そこにそのアニメーションのバックグラウンドアウトの仕事を募集っていうのがあったんです。
So in Japan, there are magazines that gets produced on a regular basis for position openings, basically job listings, right? And just flipping through that, I happened to come across a background artist position.
で、これだとこの会社を受けようと思ったんですけど、一応ね僕真面目なんでシェフの仕事もすごい真面目にやってたんですよ。
So right when I saw that, I said I have to apply for this position, but I'm also pretty dedicated to what I do. So the chef work that I had at that point, I couldn't just walk away. I was also doing that as a pretty dedicated chef.
でね、辞めさせてくれないんですよシェフのバイトを。
And the people that were hiring me also didn't want to let me go either.
それでねでも今このバックグラウンドの仕事に移らないとチャンスがなくなっちゃうと思ってもうすぐに明日からでも辞めるって言ったんだけどなかなかそこのシェフがね僕のこと気に入ってくれて辞めさせてくれなくてでもしアニメの仕事をするんだったらどのくらいお前に社会常識があるのかねテストするとでその質問に答えられたらお前を辞めさせてやると。
So they didn't want to let me go. The chef there didn't want to let me go, but if I didn't take that position and apply for that background artist work, I would lose that opportunity forever. So I begged and pleaded, try to leave the job, but he said, well, in order for you to, if you really want to go work in the animation, I need to first test you to see how adept you are to the normal working society in the working environment.
でね、3つ質問があった。
So there were 3 questions asked.
一つがその時日本の総理大臣の名前を書けるか。
First one was, can you write the current Prime Minister's name.
次が当時風の谷のナウシカが大ヒットしてて、日本のアニメにおけるね最も有名な監督、この監督の名前が書けるか。
So the second one was that was right when Nausicaa's was very popular. It was a big hit in Japan. So that was directed by one of the most famous director in Japan. And can you write his name?
これ当然両方答えられたんですね。
I passed that.
最後の質問が日本の国鳥ってわかります？鳥、国が指定している鳥ね。これの学名を答えられるか。学名って何て言うんですか？
So the first two were no problem, but the third one was what is the
Genus and species of the
national bird?
これみんな日本の国鳥って何だか知ってます？
Does anyone know? Here?
Do you know what the name of the bird is?
Name of the bird
Just
is?
the normal name of the Japanese
For
national
Japanese
bird?
national bird?
アメリカの国鳥が何だか知ってますか？
Do you know America's?
日本はトキっていうですね、今絶滅しちゃいそうな鳥がいるんですね。トキ。
In Japan, the Japanese national bird is in Japanese it's toki.
で、
Look it up.
トキの学名でね、ニッポニアニッポンっていうんです。ニッポニアニッポン、学名が。
So the scientific name of toki is Nipponia Nippon.
でこれ僕3つ答えられて、やめさせてもらいたい。
So I was actually able to answer that and passed those tests flying colors and was successfully able to retire from the cooking job.
これ3問答えられなかったら今僕ここにいないです。
So if I failed in answering any of those right at that time, then you wouldn't be seeing me today.
And as a side note, the bird's name is actually a Japanese crested ibis. Or ibis, I'm not sure, but and we would call the scientific name Nipponia nippon, which you might know that Nippon means Japan in Japanese, so it's like saying the name of your bird is Japan, Japan, or the name of your bird is America, America. All right, any other questions? Back there, see your hand first. Yep.
Due to, you mentioned time and budgetary constraints and the differences in animation, and you saw Director Ishii. For both of you, are there any aspects of your shows, whether they're scenes or music or whatever, that have not made it in because of those constraints of time or money? And are there any scenes or any other aspects that you have fought for successfully in your works to get included into your works that you had to fight for to actually get?
So let me try to paraphrase your question, see if I get it right here. Can you give any example in your works of a particular scene that you wanted to do but couldn't do because of budgetary problems, money problems, or technology problems? And then the opposite, was there something you were able to do that you were very proud of?
That you maybe had to fight for?
That you had to really, really work hard and battle to do?
スタンダローンコンプレックスの中に
In the SAC, standalone complex,
サリンジャー JD サリンジャーのキャッチャー・イン・ザ・ラインという小説が出てくるんですけど、
there's the J.D. Salinger's.
Catcher in the Rye.
Has anyone read that? Okay. So that's been used in there, referenced in there.
日本の出版社はその一節を使うのは OK ですってなったんだけど、
So the Japanese publisher okayed paraphrasing that quote.
サリンジャー本人にね直接許諾を取ると 100% ダメなので、
But if I had to go to the J.D. Salinger directly, there's no way in the world that it would get approved.
聞かないで出しました。
So it was never checked.
当時 SAC がアメリカでこんなに放映されると思ってなかったので、
I never thought it would ever be shown, the SAC would ever been shown in US as much as it did.
カートゥーンネットワークを JD サリンジャーが見ないことを祈りました。
So I pray that J.D. Salinger would never watch the Cartoon Network.
これは無理して使っちゃった例ですね。
So this is one of the examples for, well, the constraints really didn't matter.
使えなかった方はスタンドローンコンプレックスのセカンドギグで同じようにですね、日本の作家三島由紀夫さんという作家がいるんですけども、
So in the SAC2, there was also a writer in Japan named Yukio Mishima.
彼をですね、サリンジャーと同じようにその個別の11年のインディビジュアル11の題材として三島さんの作品を使おうと思ったんですけれども、
So I also wanted to use in the individual 11 character, wanted to use his work as well.
ただナショナリストのね、なんだろう、三島さんって右翼のナショナリストの代表みたいな人なんですよ。自衛隊、日本の自衛隊に乗り込んで滑腹自殺をした人ですね。自衛隊放棄せよと言って自殺しちゃった人なんですけど。
So Yukio Mishima was extreme right-wing, and he actually went into the Japanese Defense Forces and demanded that the Defense Forces would be terminated, and he demanded it so much that he ended up killing himself in the Defense Forces command center.
なんか革命をね起こそうとした人だったんで、ナショナリストたちの神様みたいな人なんですけど、その人をそのまま題材にしようとしたんですね。サリンジャーの時と一緒で許可取らないでやろうとしたんです。
So that it was an ambition I had, trying to use him as a character, as an individual 11 character in the SAC2. Who is an extreme right-wing individual that's who's really like the Japan's, I guess, farthest extreme right-wing person. Right?
だけどテレビ局のプロデューサーからね、お前の家に毎日ナショナリストたちが家の前に立ってね、お前を脅かし続けるけども、それでもよければ出していいよ。
So the TV station that was airing this finally said to him that if you don't mind having the nationalists come to your house every day and rally in front of your house, then we'll think about it.
さすがにそれは無理かなと思ってやめました。
So that scared me enough that I finally took that off the table.
これやめた方ですね。
So that'd be the example that didn't quite make it in the show.
All right, well, I know the question was directed at both of them, but we are out of time at this point for today's panel. So first, let me make a few short announcements before we thank them for their time. Right after this, we will be heading out the doors to our left, and in the autograph area, we'll be signing autographs for about an hour. And then at 5 o'clock tonight, Mr. Ishii does have a solo panel where he'll talk more in detail about what it is to really be a producer. So if you're interested in that, we'll be back in this room. And then obviously tonight, we do have the sneak peek of 009 Re-Cyborg. So we do hope that you will make sure that you can attend and watch that. So without further ado, let's please give these two gentlemen a warm welcome.